Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Aurora 4X C#. Let me go ahead and get my timer started. So last time we finalized a couple of our designs for civilian and military adjacent related stuff, as well as realized we needed to go ahead and do some more research still. Or not research, but surveying of a couple of systems, because as it turns out, our colony ship did not adequately survey those systems the last time it was there, which was, like 20, 30 years ago. So yes, we are needing to get those done. That's going to be a little bit of time. Not much, though, because that tech should be researched very quickly. Wonderful. And we'll probably build just the one of those because I don't really need to. At least not right now, because we're not planning to actually go out and explore much right now. I just need to finish these surveys of a couple of systems. Okay, this last one's taken a little bit longer than I would have expected. There we go. God, I feel like that probably should have finished a little bit sooner. How are we doing here? Still more than adequate ship maintenance? Yep, still far more than necessary ship maintenance. Okay. Ordnance transfer systems. Not useful for actually what I needed, because I don't think this affects the ordnance transfer from planets. But I don't really have anything else that's particularly worth researching. So I may just say screw it and research that. Well, actually, magazine feed systems are nice. Let's go ahead and get some better ones there. And make sure that this design is finished. It is wonderful. Obsolete that. Because I kind of forgot to obsolete some of this stuff. And come in here, go to the exploration. Tell you to retool for the new block 3s. You'll have that done October of this year. Then I'll tell you to build one. Again, just the one, because I don't need two. Somebody got into a fight because there was a 5-second increment there for a second. And we're finally getting the first of our destroyer escorts out. And just in time, because I'm needing to get a couple of freighters out now as well. Because we're planning to go ahead and try to help ourselves a little bit when it comes to research. We're going to be building an academy on the moon. Or maybe Mars. I feel like Mars might be fun for building the academy. So, we're going to actually build the academy on Mars instead. At least for this next one. We might still build one on the moon, but the one on the moon will probably end up being like a ground academy, a ground forces academy. The one on Mars, however, is going to be for science. Literally for science. But for now, we need to get the first of these out there. Let's go ahead and get you assigned to the unassigned ships fleet, because that is still where you're going. Well, do I want to go ahead and build 2 more now or wait? I think we're going to wait. I don't really need them right this second. And who got command? Captain Rafaela Benavides got the acquaint. And who got commanding officer? Oh, a lieutenant? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I don't see somebody having actually been given command of the second one. Is that right? Yes, we actually don't have a commanding officer yet on the Acti. Or Acti, or however the hell it's pronounced. Because again, it's French. Okay, there's the last one. We still don't... Game, that can't be right. I have to have lieutenant commanders that do not have any assignments. Yes, there's literally a lieutenant commander right here that you could promote and assign. Do they have a high promotion score? No, but they could still fill the role. But for some reason, they're just not. Put you under the reserves. You were going to be referred to as Escort Fleet 1, I believe. Oh, no, I'll just refer to you as Escort Fleet. That's fine. Because technically you're going to be a sub-fleet within a cargo fleet. So it doesn't... You don't really need a name that is unique, necessarily. Also, I'm wondering if it might be worthwhile potentially trying to organize... Rather than having anybody actually be under the logistics command directly, it might be worth creating like a minerals group command underneath logistics here. I'm a little bit inclined to say yes, to be completely honest with you. I do not believe they need to be anything special here when it comes to, like, industrial or logistics or anything. So I think I'm just going to make them a general command. We're going to call you Minerals Group. And we're going to put all the mineral groups underneath the, well, mineral group command, hence the name. You then need a captain under you, and for a general fleet, what I want you to focus on is engineering, logistics, and crew training. And again, you actually need to have a captain in charge. Wonderful. And that's just so that I can organize this a little bit better because I can, actually fold these things down. So now we wait for the brand new freighters to finish building, and then we're going to start slowly transporting to Earth. Okay, the Abel Tasman is ready to be built. Construction, sign here, use any components that happen to exist, feel free. Earth, I want you to go ahead and build me more of the military academies. I'm going to tell you to build me 5 more so that we can transport 5 more to Mars. I'm going to tell you to prioritize getting those out. You'll have those done by April of 2145. Wonderful. Now, this is going to screw with things a little bit because technically you can only have 5 on a planet, and because I will end up with more than 5 while we wait for the new freighters to build, the current commandant is inevitably going to get kicked off. Of being in command at some point. Okay, Harley Shipyards has added another slipway. Okay, and that's for the freighters. Go ahead and unassigned cargo fleet. Use any components that happen to exist. Go ahead and build that. That one will finish May of next year, which is fine. The other ones look like they're supposed to be finishing in December-ish. Hey, better planetary sensors, which is nice. There we go. Earth is almost reasonably capable of seeing out to Jupiter. Not that it really needs to, but it basically covers the entirety of the inner solar system now. And the reality is the thermal signatures over Mars are not super useful anymore. Yeah. Luna doesn't have its own, right? I was never dumb enough to build any on Luna, correct? Yeah, I think this is because the civilians have one on Mercury, which is resulting in this overlap around Mars, which is fine. It doesn't actually help, as far as I know. Having multiple overlapping thermal and EM sensors doesn't actually increase your detection in any way, which is kind of a shame. It'd be, kind of nice if it did. But they would have to be overlapping in such a way like this, like they're almost a Venn diagram, not just, 2 sensors on a single ship or multiple sensors within the same fleet that are from the same location or anything like that. But I do think it'd be kind of nice if ships that are in multiple locations, like they're, if you have 2 fleets that are on either side of an enemy, if their passives overlap, they can potentially detect enemies better. Okay, what to do with these last labs? Dump some of them into that, so we can get the magazine feed system a tad bit faster. Missile launcher reload rate doesn't really matter, because I'm not planning to use any missiles like that, at least not right now. Maybe if I were to design a brand new, cruiser in the future that is a fair bit larger than our existing one. Because our existing one is like 24 or something, right? Yeah, 23,000 tons. If I were to design a new one that was, say, maybe about 40,000 tons, maybe I would do that instead of using box launchers. I would use slightly fewer launchers, but actually give them a magazine. Because the reality is, do I need 100 missiles firing from a single ship? Not really. So I could probably cut that down with adequate text to like 50 and have a fairly sizable magazine, and I could just have you fire a volley of 50, reload, fire another volley of 50. And you could probably store a fair few missiles. The big question is just the reload times. But it would help with you guys being able to stay out for longer, because as it stands right now, unless I know exactly how many missiles are needed to destroy a single ship, I basically have the option of just either trying to send out small volleys at a time, which is a lot of micromanagement, or saying screw it and just tell you to blow your wad and throw all 100 missiles at a target, even if you only needed like 20. It's kind of overkill. And again, this is one of the reasons why I'm considering future iterations of our missiles, even for the size 8, are going to have an active sensor on them. So even if we fire smaller volleys in the future, those volleys will be capable of diverting onto other targets potentially. But I think the big thing is I would need to get the reload rate down enough. So you know what? Screw it. I got nothing better to research. Go ahead. Let's get some more research done into missile techs. Like I said, I got nothing better to do. Okay, the new AB Hammonds are done. As of right now, they're not going to have any special name. They're just going to be a cargo fleet. So they're just going to be Cargo Fleet 1. And Escort Fleet, you are going to join Cargo Fleet 1 as a subfleet. Also hide those, I don't need them still up anymore. Did I finish building any of those? I did actually, yes I did, okay. What I need you guys to do is Earth, load up installation, Military Academy. I do not know how this works. I've never been able to really quite figure out how this works. I want you to carry 5 of them. And then go to Mars and unload all installations. I don't know if you can carry all 5. If you need to cycle your moves to carry them or something, feel free. But I want you to transport 5. You guys are heading the wrong way to refuel and resupply from Colony. Like, that is definitely the wrong way for a refuel resupply from Colony. Now the question is, did that work in any semblance of correct? I do not know. What I am going to do is grab somebody here from construction. Did they not get transported, or is it not full enough? No, you're at 4.6, so that should probably have opened up. Unless you guys can't carry. Or rather, unless I can't have a size 5 military academy on Mars for... Now the question is, did you guys transport more than I wanted to now? Yes, you did. Okay. So... cancel orders, go here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because this is not quite working as I want it to, we're going to just use Space Master to get this correctly set up. Oops, wrong menu. Here, edit installation. I want 5 here and 5 here. Thank you very much. That's the way I wanted that to do. The orders did not quite flow correctly. Oh, that's a military academy. Do I not have something else? Or can I not have... I could have sworn you could put civilians, you know, scientists on a military academy to help you with getting research, or, you know, getting scientists that fulfill certain, you know, fields. But evidently I'm incorrect on that. It looks like the only options are literally military for that, which, I mean, I guess shouldn't be as... Oh, no, okay, I can also put administrators there. Okay, but I cannot put scientists? Really? Ah, no, they just need to have a research admin level above a certain point. It looks like 5, if I'm reading this correctly. And unfortunately, I do not believe that any of our construction and production guys have the requisite skills. Now, this is RA5, which is the annoying thing, because research admin 46 is more than 5, but 10 is also more than 5, but apparently is not adequate to fill this. So what value is RA5? Because again, research admin seems like the obvious choice, or is it admin rating? But if it's admin rating, the only option I have, well, I literally can't change this. Okay, so who opens it up? What level does it open up at here for research admin? It opens up at 25. Okay. Unfortunately, again, I do not have any construction and production guys that have a research admin level of 25. The one guy we had who may or may not have had the requisite skill, unfortunately, decided to retire at the age of 63 last year, or 2 years ago. I think it was last year. Last year sounds right. So while I have people I can put there, none of them are necessarily in the field that I'm wanting to specifically put a bunch of people into. Now, I don't know if that actually matters necessarily. Maybe it doesn't, and this just means you get more scientists, but it doesn't actually affect the field that they're specialized in. If it does, I think I would much prefer for one of our missile guys to be put in charge here, because they're unlikely to do anything right now, you know, at least immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and have Ezra Jean here go ahead and take over as the Academy Commandant on Mars. And while I don't technically need the civilian or the ground stuff, we're gonna say screw it and actually build 5 more of these. And then I'm gonna probably just have the civilians transport it to the moon because it's easier. The moon will be ground forces. I'm not quite sure where I'll have an academy for, governors, because, well, the 3 planets that we've actually colonized in the Sol system have now been filled, and I don't care to colonize any other ones here for the most part. So the options are either to do it in Siceti or Alpha Centauri, or potentially on a future colony way out in the future, because it doesn't really matter right now. Which might be what we end up doing. Because there's no immediate rush to get governors. So yes, I think we might end up doing that. We're going to hold off, I think, on getting the new governors. Or, well, not the new governors, but an academy to help train governors. Make sure our academy is set to training level of 5 for quality as opposed to quantity. So, one thing I want to... So, the officer graduates per year doesn't change, no matter what at this point. We get 100 officer graduates every year, period. What they're in, I can't say. That is entirely, I think, dependent upon which academy they go to, basically. So we'll probably get a fair few more scientists now compared to before. Most of our scientists don't really do anything, but theoretically it might be helpful. The big thing I think that increased, I don't know what it was before, I didn't pay attention because it doesn't really matter for the most part, is the crewmen and junior officers. This changes significantly depending upon whether or not I want them to be good quality or shit quality. If I want them to be able to basically just be able to, come in, be here for 6 months, and then get a diploma that says they graduated from Earth Military Academy, then, they get it, and we get 371,000 of them a year. Because I'm pretty sure this is per year. Or we can say, no, I want them to be able to calculate the square root of pi off the top of their head with no questions asked. In which case, then we only get 74,000. But 74,000 is still more than sufficient, if we're being honest. Because what am I going to need 74,000 crewmen and junior officers for? Let's be real here. My largest ship, okay, is the Akagi right now, and it only has a crew of 626. The Africa, whenever we finally get it out there, is only 810 at this moment in time, though that's because it's technically not its full size, because we haven't bothered touching it in a while to, get it there. At some point we will. Our exploration ship, 763, for a 40,000 ton ship, and that's largely, I think, just because of the sheer number of survey sensors, as well as tons of engineering, 42 frickin' engineering spaces. Freighter, 514 for the brand new ones. Troop transport, 680, we'll say, just to round up. So, do I need 74,000 a year? Not really, but I can't technically get it any lower to get even better crews, so yeah. As a result of getting this stuff out there, we are going to end up with more crew being trained and then basically not doing anything. Because what can they do? So, Luna, I want you to request military academies, demand 5 of them. Earth, I want you to supply them with military academies, 5 of them. We're going to, again, leave this to the civilians to do. They will, at some point, eventually, probably get around to it. You're going to go ahead and just join that. And whenever that happens, we're going to put somebody in charge of it from ground forces. Luna's going to be for the Army and Marines. Mars is for the scientists, and Earth is for the Navy. And then probably Alpha Centauri will end up being for governors, but I haven't quite decided on that yet. Let's see, what do we go for? Let's go for higher construction rate. Sure. And that still leaves me with a couple of extra labs open. Wealth generation, sure. Actually, don't have the dude who only has 5 labs take care of that. That is an absolutely terrible idea. Let the guy who has 15 take care of it. The dude who has 5 labs, you're not doing anything, like ever. If I could fire you, I would, but unfortunately, I do not think I can actually fire you. Actually, I can force you into retirement. Because I can tell you, you are so incompetent that you will never get used. I realize you're 24, but sorry, Justin Delancey, you are literally never doing anything. Enjoy your retirement. So you have been retired by order of high command. Oh, you got an honorable discharge. Well, of course. But, yeah. I wish I could unretire you. I can tell you to retain. How does that work? Does that bring you back? I don't think it does. No, you're still retired. So I don't know what the hell this retain is. Unless it's to remove you from this list at some point, if it gets large enough or something, I don't know. I have zero clue what the hell this retain button does, because it only exists for those guys down there. You have 9 labs and 0 bonus. I'm going to just go, Isaac Collins, you're retiring too. Enjoy. You're 43. Yeah. Enjoy your retirement. Giuseppe Wraith here, you are never doing anything. Yeah, looking at this, you've never researched anything. The chances of you ever researching something is slim to none. You have 14 labs that you can have and 0 bonus. You're 60. Go ahead and enjoy your retirement. Let's get you out of the list. You have apparently done some research. Good for you. How about you retire? No immediate rush. We'll hold off on that, I think. Now, I believe I will need a general of the army to serve as the academy commandant once it gets to level 5. So who do we want to have be our general? Well, first things first, I want somebody who is preferably not currently doing anything. So ground forces commander. Yeah, we'll just go with ground combat training as number 1. Offense, defense, and sure, political reliability. So who's the first person in this list that is not currently in something? Well, apparently we actually don't have anybody free. That can't possibly be right. That I don't have a single person here who is free. Well, I'll be. We actually don't. Okay, who is the absolute best person? Brigadier General Shurik Osipov here. Well, you know what, Osipov? You're getting promoted to General of the Army. Why? So that I can put you in charge here. Because again, I assume I'm probably going to need the General of the Army once it gets to level 5. I needed a Fleet Admiral when the Academy on Earth is at level 5. I probably need a General of the Army for the Academy here. So you're currently in charge of the 2nd Division Command. Well, lucky you, you have a ton of promotions scored. I don't know why, but you've got a fair bit at 3,556 still, even after promoting you. You're taking over. It's a very small academy. It's still being built up, but don't worry. Eventually, you're going to have the best of the best training academy for troops on the ground. You just got to wait a little bit longer. And then somebody got promoted to fill his position. And we have detected a Charug. Is it the same Charug from before, or is it a new one? I think it's the same one as before, because we don't see one that is not destroyed, and I swear there was a Charug that was not destroyed. So this guy is new. Or excuse me, this guy is old, rather. But we're picking him up. Okay. Well, since the refit's finished on the Quick Reaction Force, we're just gonna send the Quick Reaction Force out, and I'm gonna tell you guys to hang out at about 1 million kilometers initially. Also, actives on. And enjoy. Go ahead and do an 8-hour increment. Another 8-hour increment. Also, kick this on so I can actually see when he enters active radar range. 3-hour increments. I probably could have done one more 8, but we're just going to go ahead and start slowing down as we close the distance more and more. Now, the question is, do you have an escort? Like, did you link up with your buddies? Because there was the drills. We didn't destroy all of them. There were like 2 that still survived. But we're not picking them up yet. And I believe that our our resolution 100 sensors should have picked them up. But I might be misremembering. Resolution 100 sensors are 5,000 ton objects. And so you clearly do not have an escort, unless it is Tekkas and Yaix that snuck in. And it looks like it is Tekkas and Yaix that snuck in. Because we definitely, I think, should have picked up the drills from the long range. So, okay. We adjust the closing distance. 210,000 kilometers. Well, I say 210,000. 200,000. Ship combat. Cruisers. Assign all. These go to the really long range. Okay, nope. What? Is that right? Which one's the missile fire control? Oh, the Aurora. And then you there. Did I think I need to rename this because I don't think the naming convention is quite correct. That would be correct, that it is not quite correct. I forgot one thing to do. That. I forgot the dash in it, which is kind of what caused some of the confusion there. Also, make sure you guys have that all loaded up. First target, Yayik, assign to fleet. Make sure you guys are all set up. You are. Assign to fleet. And I think I said Yayik before, I meant Tekka. Uh, 20-minute increments again. Thank you very much. Also, tell you guys to open fire fleet. No. Excuse me. Only open fire with guns. Thank you very much. I do not need. I do not need you firing the missiles. Trust me, it's an absolute waste of your time to fire the missiles. Mostly because the missiles are significantly more expensive than just using guns. Seconds. Closing in. Get to test out the fancy schmancy new all 15-centimeter railguns on this guy. We got 37 impacts. Great job, guys. And 5 of them were already penetrating hits. Wonderful. 32. 39. Tekka's down. Let's go here. Yayik engage. Yayik engage. This is the whole reason for going with these brand new railguns. It is great that we're able to now fire with a 5-second rate of fire. There is zero downtime in being able to fire now. We can just keep shooting. Now to engage the Charug itself. And we could close the distance. There's zero reason to do so, of course. So we're not going to. We'll continue to engage it from approximately maximum range. Of course, we are having some maintenance issues, which is not too surprising, but we have tons of maintenance supplies left over to take care of these, so it's not really a big deal. And there's the Charug dealt with. The Charugs will take a bit longer to deal with for the simple reason that we have to close, so before we had technically more guns because we had the 10 centimeters, and so we could close in and use those to finish off the Charug because it has no weapons to be able to defend itself. It just has its sheer amount of armor because it's a fairly sizable ship. So technically we have less guns overall, but the big thing is that we can take care of the actual escorts probably much easier because we're able to fire more shots because we have more railguns that can engage at a distance where they can't engage us, which is the big thing. Oof, yeah, the Baltimore really used up a ton of maintenance supplies. It is actually down to 36%. So let's get you guys to Earth, refuel, resupply. Hide that stuff because I don't need to see it anymore. And let's go ahead and get the salvage fleet back out there. Hey guys, I got some wreckages for you. Get the tech of the Yig and the Charg and then head back to Earth. So that was a nice, fun little weapons test of our brand new designs. It works as expected, is really the simplest way to describe it. It works as expected. And so long as it continues to work as expected, we have no problems. Okay, wonderful. You are done. Now, I do not actually have a... Oh, no, I do actually have a fleet for you to go under. There you go. Okay. So, where was it that I needed you to explore? I think it was WX Ursi and Iota, I believe. No, not Iota. Epsilon Indy? Yes. I need you to go ahead and explore. Can I get you to auto route out there? I can. Wonderful. I need you to come out here. Standing order. Survey nearest body. Survey nearest survey location. When fuel gets less than 40%, refuel at colony. When supply is less than 20%, resupply at colony. Wonderful. Enjoy. I think a couple people got switched around. Because I did see that somebody in charge of, or somebody who's on the acute got swapped out. Speaking of the acute, change of plans. Cargo Fleet 1, you don't need these guys anymore. You guys are going to go ahead and join the Lalande mineral group as a subfleet. You are going to detach because you are being scrapped along with all of your parasites. So, Owens Shipyard. Scrap. CVE Acute. Go. Also, go ahead and start scrapping what you can of the F1s that are on the acute. This is going to take a little bit of time to get all of these guys scrapped. Was that all of them, or is there still a couple more that need to be scrapped? Nope, that looks to have been all of them. Wonderful. And nothing else needs to be scrapped right now. Wonderful. Mineral Group Command needs to be upgraded to a Fleet Admiral. Or excuse me, a Rear Admiral, lower half. Okay. And that should all be basically good to go. Order's not possible. That doesn't quite seem right now, does it? That really just doesn't seem quite right. Because these guys haven't been surveyed at all. According to this. So I will manually tell you to come out here and conduct a geological survey. I do not know why you are apparently failing to find these guys as needing to have been surveyed, but there we go. How are you doing, the person who just got 22 labs? Flavio. Flavio, can I place you in charge of the Commandant thing now? I can. Wonderful. Once you're done with that, you're taking over the Commandant. Actually, no, you are not quite good enough to go on to Mars, actually. Never mind. You still have a little bit of a ways to go because you need to be 25 research admin. If I recall correctly is what it was. And you're at 22. So you need to get just a little bit better, Flavio. And then you're good to go to take over on Mars, because I really need to focus on construction and production. Scientists, assuming that has any effect. Again, I don't know off the top of my head if it actually has any effect. But if it does, I would much prefer for that to be done correctly. Now, I don't believe any of these worlds out here are considered adequate for an NPR, so this guy shouldn't have to worry. There you go. See? There is stuff for you to survey. Now are you going to actually correctly be able to sort this out, or... Okay, no. See, you were able to sort it out. I just had to tell you to fly out here. Because for some reason, flying to the other star in the system was apparently not something you could do. You just couldn't be bothered, I guess. You didn't think it was close enough or something. Got a couple of ground survey potentials that are popping up here, but they all look to be minimal, I believe. Oh, okay, I spoke too soon. One of them just got good. B5. Okay, well, now question is, are any of these any good and potentially worth considering colonizing? Well, B1 is another Venusian world. No resource... Well, I was about to say no resource we care about, but it has perfect accessibility. Corbomite. But Corbomite is not the sea resource that we need. Corundium is the sea resource we really need. We have B2 here. Nothing particularly special. I mean, it's decent resources, but again, nothing particularly special. Tiny bit of Sorium on B3. One of the moons for B3 has tons of Duranium. Holy crap. Pretty sure that moon is made of Duranium. B4 is another gas giant with a tiny amount of Sorium. B45, one of the moons, is a tiny bit of Galsite. B415 has a fair amount of Corbomite with pretty good accessibility and a small amount of Sorium with perfect accessibility. B4 has very nice quantities of Sorium, as well as an above average accessibility. Now, I say above average, I'm using 0.5 as average. Realistically speaking, if we wanted to speak of the averages that we see, I'm pretty sure 0.7 is well above average, not just above average. B43, one of the moons for it, has lots of Gaussite with really good availability, 0.8 and 4 million Gaussite, and a fair bit of Venderite, which is useful for our ground forests, and again, Duranium. I'm going to create a colony here because we may end up colonizing that. That is some very nice Gaussite accessibility. B423 has more Iridium, which I don't really care too much for. Sorium, which it's a fair amount, but I don't know if I really care enough to colonize it. I may just do automated mines there because I don't really care enough to actually colonize that, I don't think. And B433 is nothing to write home about. Now, B423 also has a good survey site potential. So we might have more resources or better accessibility or something. So maybe it'll be worth considering surveying after, or, colonizing after we do the survey. But as of right now, it's sort of whatever. And then finally, B6, which is absolutely worthless. It is a dwarf planet that has 0 resources. So I'm going to go and create some mines, or, some colonies here, because I do kind of like Ursa Majoris B here. Now I need you, check your fuel levels, more than sufficient. I need you to fly out to double check the name. It was Epsilon Indy. And because Epsilon Indy is not surveyed at all, hopefully you will actually follow your orders without me needing to hold your hand to get you started. We'll see how that goes. Game seemed to take a while to process that turn. Just thinking something major was about to happen. But no. Nothing happened. Oh. We forgot to unload the supplies off of the salvage fleet. I just realized. Unload all ship components. Unload all minerals. Go here. Ooh, 20 centimeter railguns. Did you guys swap out your tech? Did you finally upgrade? You got 20 centimeter railguns now or something. That doesn't seem right. Who gave you permission to use 20 centimeter railguns? Because I sure as hell don't have any. Oh, okay. Looks like the Tekkas. Oh, wait. Were they? Wait, no. They were always using. Were they always using 20s? I swear they weren't. I swear these were always damaged 4x4s, but I swear they were using 15s. Were they always 20s? Maybe they were, and I'm just completely misremembering. But either way, scrap that. Scrap that. Damn, you guys still have nuclear gas core engines. Or was that our fighters? Those might have been the F1s, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, okay. Well, yes, because it has a company name. Those are definitely ours. Why do I have 20 of them? How many? How many ships could you carry? 20. Okay, yes. Okay, that would explain it. I'm like, why do I have 20? Why does that not sound right? But no, it is correct. Get rid of the improved damage control. Get rid of those ancient reactors. Because they are absolutely ancient reactors. Okay, that gives us a couple of extra minerals. Did we arrive in Epsilon Indy, or are we still waiting? We did. Wonderful. You are conducting geological surveys. At least... Oh my god, Epsilon Indy is going to be an absolute pain to research, or to survey. Wait. This is A. Okay, no, you got two suns out here. Okay. I was about to say, wait. When I zoom out, I only see two of these clusters of stuff. Zooming out further doesn't open up another one, so I was confused as to how you had an A, B, and C. But okay, it's because B and C are here, and C just orbits around pretty far out from where B is. Luckily, there's a Lagrange point here that we can use for jumping inside the system. So if this does end up being a worthwhile place to colonize, we'll have no problems getting our resources from way out there. The ones that could be an issue are Epsilon Indy A, what is that, 8 and 9? If these have anything worth taking, they're going to be a pain to get resources from. Because they have no Lagrange points. And they don't actually orbit anything. They're just way out here as stationary planets. So those... Okay, those are dwarf planets, so they're probably not going to be worth it. Probably. But yeah, it's 15.7 billion kilometers from Epsilon Indy A8 to technically the star it orbits, even though, again, it doesn't actually have an orbit of Epsilon Indy A. That is... no. Just no. I'm not colonizing those. These would need to have some absolutely ludicrous amounts of resources with like damn near perfect availability for me to even consider them. Because that is way too far away. Unless I can actually use Epsilon Indy as like a second, industrial zone. Like a second sol system, basically. Otherwise, I'm not colonizing these unless they have some damn good resources, because it will take forever for our freighters to get out here. And I would probably need to design like a special freighter just to come out here to Epsilon Indy A8 and 9 to be able to pick up their resources. Or I would have to use mass drivers. And of course, mass drivers, they fire their packets at a specific speed. What that speed is, I don't know. And I imagine there's a maximum speed that they probably fire at. So these resources would probably take quite a while, especially if where I'm having them fire them to is like way out here on the opposite end of the orbit. We shall see what Epsilon Indy holds, but it might be an interesting system to colonize if it has worthwhile resources. But I'm thinking we're probably leaning towards WX Ursae Majoris, if I'm being completely honest. Let's do another 5-day increment just to get rid of all of these. There we go. Oh. 26 million calcite on A3 here. And that is a terrestrial planet. The thing is, it is absolute crap to try to colonize. It has a colony cost of 5.64. We could colonize it. It would not be a particularly enjoyable experience, but that is a ton of calcite and duranium. 26 million calcite, 59 million duranium. I really, really hope that I can use Epsilon Indi as like a second Sol system. Because if we can, we're doing that. Because I feel like it's going to be fairly resource rich right now. Just a guess. I feel like it's going to be fairly resource rich. Especially because it has a ton of planets. You know, let's see. Yeah, there are, well, I say a ton of planets. There are 9 planets that orbit A. There are 3 that orbit B. And of course, none that orbit C, because C orbits B and does not have its own stuff. There are also 200 asteroids and 56 moons orbiting A, and 53 more moons orbiting B. This is a very resource-rich system. We'll see how it goes, but I think we might end up colonizing Epsilon Indi unless it ends up being a bust. And we will probably end up turning it into like a second Sol system where it is basically a secondary place for me to be able to build fleets and things of that nature. We will have an absolutely massive civilian population there. But it's going to be a very slow build up because we only have Earth to build the necessary infrastructure to go there. But if it is a resource-rich place, as I hope and suspect, eventually we'll be able to get it to where it can build its own infrastructure and facilities to be able to continue its own expansion there instead of relying solely on Earth. And that'll speed things up fairly significantly. The big question, I think, is going to be whether or not, particularly these civilian ships, can actually make it there. I'm pretty sure my freighters can probably make it there and back without too much of an issue. Yeah, this is supposed to be the distance between the two. And I believe it's just using the jump points. And I believe it's in billions of kilometers. So it's like 33 billion kilometers. So my freighters can just make it to Epsilon Indi and back. Or excuse me, it is 39.7 billion kilometers if I am correct in how this, what this number represents. I know it's the distance, but I believe it is the distance using just the jump points between the location you chose as your source and then this being the destination. So 39.7 between Sol and Epsilon Indi. Again, I'm pretty sure in billions of kilometers. So we'll round and we'll say 40 billion kilometers. Because we technically need to take into account actually flying to the planets to be able to load and unload. So yeah, it's probably more like 40, 41, give or take. Once you take into account both ends. So we'll say about 82 billion kilometers of range is necessary. Luckily, my freighters have like 100, so we have a little bit more wiggle room. But Epsilon Indi, I think, might be a great place to colonize. We'll see. I am frankly surprised that the NPRs don't seem to be doing much this time. I say this time. All the games I've played, NPRs have generally been fairly passive. I've seen people play games where the NPRs are actually very aggressive. I don't know why the NPRs are being very passive this campaign. And I don't have really settings I can tweak to adjust their aggressiveness as far as I know. So hopefully when I inevitably do a future campaign again here, we end up with NPRs that are actually, doing stuff. But yeah, so I will see you all next time. Quick reminder, if you want to stay up to date with the channel, my go-to place for posting channel updates is my Discord server. You can find a link to that down below in the description. But I will see you all next time. Until then, glory to the Republic.